Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on October 30th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is the format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 3, 20, 48, 54, and 59. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 3 was purple, the 20 was blue, the 48 was purple, the 54 was orange, and the 59 was red. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 3 and the 48 were purple. The 20 was blue. The 54 was orange. And the 59 was red. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I got 2 purple, 1 blue, 1 orange, 1 red for 4 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 378 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 135 times. Okay, so what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. Okay, you can see that that has come up 200 times out of 378 drawings. Okay, so if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. And the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, okay? And the reason why this is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. So again, I'm going to start in with the 3, the 20, the 48, the 54, and the 59. The next line down is the 5, the 12, the 50, 61, and 69. The next line down is the 14, 27, 29, 59 is already taken, and the 65. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 5, 2 is 7, 3 is 10, and 4 is 14. So up here, I'm going to leave this alone at 14. Up here it tells me of how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area here, I'm going to start in with the 1. Then the 5 is already taken, so the 25, the 63, 67. The next line down is the 12, which is already taken. The 29 is taken, so the 34, 53, 65 is already taken, so the next line down is the 5, and that's taken. So the 18, 33, 43, 65, which is already taken. So the next line down is the 6, 14 is taken, so the 36, 51, and 54 is already taken. So again, I'm going to make these orange numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 2 here, 3 is 5, 5 is 10, and 2 are 12. So up here I'm going to leave this alone at 12. Okay? So I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card here. So what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right, where I got this game card all set for this drawing here. So here's the game card for October 30th, 2019. Again, you can see there was 14 red numbers, 12 orange. Turned out to be 17 green numbers, 14 blue, and 12 purple numbers. Okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So the strategy here is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 383 drawings, okay? So it comes up, but it's very rare, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group is not going to come up. And to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So I like to use this 50-50 picks as kind of like a roadmap to what I think are going to be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. The first thing I'm going to do is change this to 424. 424 drawings I kept track of, okay? And basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So I'm going to go back to the game card, and I got an odd, even, odd. So I got 3 even numbers and 2 odds. So here I'm going to put down 2, 3 here. So I'm going to highlight the majority, and now I'm going to make this 200. Okay, so out of 424 drawings, 224 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, and 200 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so what I like to do is, again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me that majority. So out of this 5 drawings here, you can see the majority was odds, 3 drawings to 2, okay? So I'm going to make a prediction on what I think is going to happen for this next drawing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that, as looking at this on the right side, you can see that the blue is kind of sparse here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that the evens are going to go on a run here, okay? So this next drawing, I'm going to predict that there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write that down to remind myself what I picked. Okay, so again, I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so moving on. The next one I have is high and low here. So all the numbers in blue are considered low numbers. All the numbers in red are considered high. Okay, so this last drawing, you can see that there was 3 to the high side and 2 to the low side. Okay, so this is pretty close. 214 drawings to 210 drawings. Okay, so here I'm right on the verge. Okay, I got 2 to the high side, 2 to low side. So what do you think the majority is going to be? Okay, so for me, I think the majority is going to be in the red area. So I think more numbers are going to be to the high side than the low side. So I'm going to write that down as well. Again, just to remind myself what I picked. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I got left and right. And what I'm going to do is, most of the time it comes out to be 3-2 for some reason, okay? And this has been 3-2 for a little while, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this is going to be a 4-1 up here, okay? So that means if it's going to be 4-1, then the majority of the numbers have to be to the left side. So that's what I'm going to predict, okay? So I'm going to write that down as well, that I think more numbers are going to be to the left side than the right side, okay? So one last thing that I have is this red and blue area here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that that this is going to be 4-1 again, okay? Like right here. In order for that to happen, more numbers to the red area have to come up, okay? So I'm going to predict that. I'm going to say that more numbers to the red area are going to come up than the blue area, okay? So that's my 50-50 pick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next strategy. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the game card here, and I'm going to make my prediction on what color group is not going to come up. And my prediction is no red numbers, okay? So the reason why I'm doing this, and we're all going to look at this differently, okay? But for me, a red number has come up in the last 9 drawings, okay? So I'm going to predict that it's just due to miss, okay? Like right here, where you see no red numbers, okay? So I'm hoping that's going to happen here. So I'm going to say no red numbers are going to come up. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so just give me a second. There's 14 of them. Okay, so I'm going to block these out. So when I block out these numbers, this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5-way winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm betting $3 that none of these red numbers will come up, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm buying a Powerball ticket, which costs $3 with the power play, okay? So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these red numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these red numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize, okay? So I'm moving on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups, okay? So here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9, okay? This is the only one with 9 numbers, of course, where the other 6 groups have 10 numbers to it, okay? So I'm just going to update this real quick so you can see that the 3 came up in the last drawing. So I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 3. And now I'm going to make this square purple. Now I'm making it purple because the 3 is purple, okay? And the 3 is purple because the color code said it was purple, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And I'll show you how to read this here. Okay, so again, I like to break things down into 5, okay? So this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings, okay? Now the reason why I like to break it down into 5 is usually so it shows me the majority, but here it's a little bit different. I break it down into 5 for a couple reasons. One is when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, okay, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? So that's how I look at things, and what I like to do here is, again, I have 7 groups, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So again, we're all going to look at this differently, but for me, I'm going to go with no 60 numbers, okay? Now, the reason why I'm picking this is because the 60 number had a little run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawings in a row where a 60 number has come up, okay? So the last drawing, there was no 60 numbers, okay? And I'm going to predict that since there was 5 drawings in a row with a 60, I'm going to say that a couple drawings are going to go without a 60 number, okay? So again, I'm going to predict that no 60 numbers are going to come up in this drawing. So I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of my game card, okay? So I'm going to blow this back up again. I'm going to go to the game card. And I'm going to eliminate all the 60 numbers, okay? So here's the 66, the 67, the 60, the 68, the 62, 63, and 64 are the only 60 numbers left on the game card, so I'm going to get rid of those, okay? So hopefully no 60 numbers come up, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, pick the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different color groups, okay? So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that, okay? So the last drawing, there was the 3 in the red, the 20 was in the red, the 48 was in the green, the 54 was in the green, and the 59 was in the orange. Okay, so I had 2 numbers in the red, the 3 and the 20. I had no numbers in the blue. I had 1 number in the orange, the 59, and I had 2 numbers in the green, the 48 and the 54. Okay, so when there's a hit like this, I color the background red for hot. And if there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Now, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers are going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery, okay? So here I'm going to change this to 95, and this tells me how many zeros are in this column here, okay? So I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So I do have a group 1 overview, okay? And this keeps track of all the colors, okay? So I have 15 red areas, 15 blue, 15 orange, 15 green, of course, okay? So what I do is if there's 5 zeros among these 15 option cards, I color the background blue over here, okay? If there's 4 or less, I color the background red for hot, okay? Red for hot, blue for cold. So the reason why I do this is because I want some separation. Now, if I could correctly guess where a blue mark is going to come up, then that means that at least a third of these option cards in this color is going to have a 0 to it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this green area is going to have a 0 to it, okay? I mean a blue mark to it, okay? Which I believe within these 15 option cards here in the green area, at least 5 of these option cards are going to have a 0 in the green area, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where these zeros are going to be, okay? And I'm going to start with this number 8 right here in the green area, okay? Now, again, we're all going to look at this differently, okay? But for me, I'm picking this one because you can see that all these single zeros here, okay? There's 18 of them, okay? And I'm hoping that it's due to double up like right here, okay? So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So that means I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to come up. So I want to get rid of them off of my game card, okay? So I'm going to go with the 4, the 9 down to the 27, and then the 5 down to the 32. So I'll get rid of that 4, the 19, and the 27, and then the 23 and 32. So hopefully those numbers do not come up, okay? And then on the second half, I got the 35, 44, 49, 68. And over here it's the 61, 38, 47, 56. So I'll get rid of the 35, 44, okay? Now right here with the 68, I'm going to get rid of this 58 as well. And then over here, I'm going to get rid of the 38, 47, 56. So hopefully none of these numbers come up. Okay, so the reason why I'm getting rid of the 58 here is you can see that I have 5 numbers over here to the left, okay? And as I go back to my group 1, you can see that there's no numbers over here to the left, okay? So what I wanted was this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, okay? But that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 numbers in the lottery, okay? So what I had to do is what I call sharing a square. I had to pair a couple of these numbers up in one square. Like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68, okay? So if I get rid of all these green numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 58 and the 68 along with all these other green numbers as a group, okay? So this is just my way of grouping up numbers, all right? So if this square comes up, then I'm going to get rid of the square, and this represents 58 and 68, okay? So moving on, the next one I'm going to pick is this option card number 9, no green numbers. Now the reason why I'm picking this one is because this has gone 18 drawings in a row where one of these green numbers have come up. So I'm just hoping that it's due to have the 0 to it, okay? So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers off of my game card. So here it's the 4 to the 65 and the 29, 6, 15, and 24. So I'll get rid of the 11, and I'm also going to get rid of the 25 because it shares the square with the 65 here, okay? And the next one was the 29 and the 6, 15, 24, so I'll get rid of those. And hopefully those numbers do not come up, okay? The next one is this 36, 41, 51, 68, and then the 39, 48, 69, 62. So again, it's the 36, 41, 51, 68, which is already gone. And the 39 and the 69, which shares the square with the 53, so I'll get rid of that as well. And hopefully those numbers do not come up, okay? So again, I have 15 of these option cards, but I only like to pick from 1 or 2 because there's so many variables to this, okay? Like here in this option card 12, you can see that all 4 colors got hit, and I call that a row, okay? So there's that you have to contend with, and you know, it's just hard to pick where these zeros are going to pop up, okay? But if you can do it, you can knock out a bunch of numbers and give yourself a much better opportunity at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery, okay? So here's all 15 of my option cards. So I'm moving on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers, okay? So much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups, okay? So it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, all right? Except with this one, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 8 of these color groups. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is, try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this one as well. So again, the 3 came up, which is in the orange area. Okay, the 20 is in green. The 48 is in yellow. The 54 is in brown, and the 59 is in orange. So I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow, okay? It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, I'm going to update this, and I always like to read things left to right, so I got 2 orange, 1 green. The 2 orange is the 3 and the 59, 1 green, the 20, 1 brown, the 54, and 1 yellow, the 48. So I'm going to scroll down here to current. Okay, so I had no winning Powerball numbers in the red area. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the blue area. I had 2 in the orange, the 3 and the 59. I had 1 in the green, that 20. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the purple area, 1 in the brown, that 54. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the gray, and I had 1 in the yellow, the 48. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many groups got hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to put that over here. And I'm going to change this color to red. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side. Okay, you got 2 orange, 2 in the orange, and 1 in the green. Okay, so if I'm looking back through the history and I'm looking at this 5 for whatever reason, I know that the majority of the numbers are over to the right side because it's green. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to color these in. Okay, so again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me that majority. So here you can see that there's already 3 misses out of this 5 drawings. So I'm going to color the background blue for cold. And here you can see that there was 3 hits. So the majority is hits, so I'm going to color the background red for hot. Okay? So the reason why I do that is because when I see something like this right here where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color these yellow just so they stick out. It's right on the verge. Okay, we're even, 2 hits, 2 misses. What color do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be blue or do you think it's going to be red? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pick any of the yellows here. I'm going to go with this purple. Now you can see how hot this purple has been through here. Okay, so I'm going to predict that this is going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the purple numbers off of this option card number 1. And that runs down from the 5 down to the 61. So I'm going to go to my game card, and I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of my game card. So I'm going to get rid of the 13, the 21, the 37, and the 45. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay? So moving on to option card number 2. I'm going to go with no blue numbers. So here's the blue. And as I scroll down through, here, I think the 0 is going to be right here, making the background blue. Okay. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of my game card. And it runs from the 9 to the 16. So I'll get rid of the 10 and the 16. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay. So moving on to option card 3. Again, I have 15 of these option cards. And I'm going to go with red. So as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot down through here. And I'm hoping that there's going to be a streak of blue coming up. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that runs from the 4 to the 28 and the 37 to the 61. So I'll get rid of that 28. Hopefully that number does not come up. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 4. I'm going to go with no red. So here's the red. And as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and it runs from the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. So here I'm going to get rid of the 7 and the 8 because the 8 shares the square with the 66. And I'm going to get rid of the 33 and the 34. So hopefully those 4 numbers do not come up. So moving on to option card 5. Again, I have 15 of these. Okay, so I'm going to go with purple. So here's the purple, and as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these purple numbers. So this pattern right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 1 and the 19 because the 19 shares the square with the 67. So I'll get rid of those 2 numbers and hopefully they do not come up. Okay. So moving on to option card 6. I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue. And as I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot through here, and I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers. And it runs from the 4, 11, 20, 27 all the way down. So I'm going to get rid of the 43 and the 52. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to option card 7. I'm going to go with brown. So here's the brown. And as I scroll down through, things got pretty hot down through here. So the other reason why I'm picking this is because this has hit 8 drawings in a row. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. And that's the 1, 10, 3, 12 all the way across. And you can see that there's nothing to get rid of. Okay. So here's the thing with my group 2 numbers. All right. I keep track of all the stats for all 15 of these option cards, okay? And the average comes out to around 3.8 to 4.2, okay? So what that means, and what I'm trying to say here, is that on average, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So I picked option card number 7, no brown numbers. There's nothing to eliminate. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that I picked this correct, okay? And none of these brown numbers are going to come up. So if I come back to this option card number 7 and I pick another color group, the odds go way, way up that I'm going to get it wrong, especially if I got this brown one correct, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again, okay? So here with option card number 8, I'm going to go with no red. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the red numbers off of my game card. And that's the 5, 16, 21, 31. So I'll get rid of the 31. Hopefully that number does not come up. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so here's option card number 9. I'm going to go with blue, so here's the blue, and as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got really, really hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, and that's the 227 on the left side and 1621 on the right side. So I'll get rid of this 2. Hopefully that number does not come up, okay? So moving on, option card number 10, I'm going to go with yellow. So here's the yellow. And as I scroll down through, you can see that this has been pretty hot all the way down, and I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers. And that's the pattern of 16, 20, 65 in all 4 squares. So I'm going to get rid of the 57, and hopefully that number does not come up. Okay, so moving on to 11, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red, and as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got really, really hot through here, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a 0 to make the background blue, okay? So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and that's the 614, 1765, 3543, 5664. So I'll get rid of the 17, and hopefully that number does not come up. Okay, so moving on to 12, I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red. As I scroll down through, it's got a little hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and that's the 5 to the 29 and the 33 to the 57. So I'll get rid of the 22 and the 42. So hopefully those numbers do not come up, and that will bring me down to 5 numbers. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 26, 30, 40, 46, and 55. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight these. So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 26, 30, 40, 46, and 55. Okay, so the thing about my game is, again, we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay, but, you know, I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Okay, let me go over the official odds. Okay, so the official odds are the grand prize, and that's all 5 white balls plus the red ball. The grand prize is up to 140 million for this drawing. Okay, the odds are that are 1 in 292 million that you're going to get it correct. Okay, my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the white balls. Okay, I love to win the grand prize. Okay, the odds are this, getting all 5 white balls correct are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, it's more of a fun game to pick your numbers and be more involved with the lottery. Okay, so another nice prize to win would be 4 white balls plus the red ball. That pays 50,000 plus the power play, and the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, and here's the smaller odds. Okay, and you know, you can see that the higher prizes, you know, the odds are just astronomical. Okay, and of course that's why it pays so well. Okay, but I just want to go over a budget that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so I just want to give you some perspective on that. Okay, so one last thing that I have here, I do have something for the Powerball number itself. Okay, so here in this column, there's 26 red numbers, so I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. And if you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. So over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay, so the reason why I do the colors is when I see something like this where it's been a long streak of blue, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what's going to happen here, and I'm going to say that this is going to be red. This next number is going to be red, so I think it's going to be a high number. Okay, and over here, looking at things, I think that this is going to be red as well. So I think this next Powerball is going to be a high odd number. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.